Today's show is sponsored in part by Acre Gold. We love Acre Gold. Don't come out of pocket for expensive gold all at once. Instead, subscribe to Gold for as little as $30 a month. How it works: pay in every month until your gold stash reaches the price of Acre Gold bars. Then Acre discreetly ships directly to your home. I've got the packages. I didn't know what was in them, and I was delightfully surprised to find gold. Acre Gold also has $50, $100, and $250 per month options for larger gold bars. Acre is backed by the same team who funded Liquid Death. We love Acre Gold. Some customers have been subscribed for over 4 years. Check them out, Acre Gold, at getacregold.com/spike911. Getacregold.com/spike911. Let's start the show.
Spike's Car Radio starts now.
I always ask the guest, pick a song that you like, a song you like to drive to, just a song. And James Marsden is sitting here with me right now, and he said, Paranoid, Android, Radiohead.
But not after thinking about it for a while.
Why?
I don't know. I think I came up with that one because I'm on a little kick going back to some Radiohead. And I'm rediscovering things like In Rainbows and these albums that kind of came out and we're like, okay, that's not the Bends, but now you listen to them and they're great. So I don't know. I think they're just fresh in my mind, and I like the sort of pulse that this song has.
We're listening to it right now. It's funny. It's when I lived in this neighborhood, I used to listen to this song.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm
Well,
visiting.
I
I
did it
feel
for
like
you.
I'm going back into my Hollywood past and into your Hollywood present. You never left.
You were in, and now we know when you were in Hollywood, in the Hollywood Hills, when OK Computer came out, and then you never came back. You went west and you left us behind.
You don't live in California.
Yeah, no.
You live in Texas. But anyways, welcome to Spike's Car Radio. I'm here with our friend James Marsden. Welcome back to the show, James. And we're at his house. This is really fun. I'm so happy you invited me here to record. This is a lovely place.
I'm happy you came to see me.
This is a house that I am guessing some big studio rents for you while you shoot a show.
It is not. I wish it was my house, but it's not my house. I'm renting it I'm here doing a show. Started on Monday. And I'll be here for 5 months because I got my place in Austin, Texas, and I come back and forth. So, yeah, I'm here renting this place. So I'm trying to make it as homey as possible.
Yeah,
you're helping with that.
You have a guitar.
Yeah,
behind you. I didn't know you were a guitar
I should
player.
have hid that before you came in because that's just asking for you to ask me to play it.
I would never do that. No.
I think it's telling you that I actually can't play it because I injured my left middle finger playing paddle tennis.
Racket sports.
A racket sport. I dove like an idiot at my age.
Yes.
Because we still in our minds think that we can do these things.
Who are you playing paddle with?
I was actually... thank you for asking. This is my name drop. I was in London playing paddle with Woody Harrelson, actually, who's a big paddle fan as well.
That is the most Hollywood thing anyone's ever seen.
Yeah.
So
teed that up nicely.
No one on this podcast wants to hear me talk about tennis and racket sports, but I do. What the hell is padel?
Yeah,
paddle. Is it?
Paddle,
It's
padel,
not like pickleball. It's not tennis.
It's kind of like pickleball. It's a mix of the two. I think it's a balance between the two. It's a shortened tennis court. The scoring's like tennis, but it's 2-on-2, like pickleball, and it's a smaller court. But you have a glass wall behind you, so there's a squash element to it too. So you can smash a ball over the net, and in tennis that ball would be gone, but this ball will now bounce back off of the glass wall and still be in play.
It seems like you have to be very athletic, quick
Well, of
reflexes.
course. Yes.
And I see that from you, but Woody,
Surprisingly, well, not surprisingly. Sorry, Woods. He's an agile old man.
but isn't he hitting the bong a lot? Isn't he? Doesn't that slow the reactions?
I mean, he's
I play live ball tennis, right? And halfway through a session not long ago, a guy said, I took a gummy. Or I ate a gummy before this. And I said, wait, what? We're hitting pretty hard. You ate like a weed gummy? He goes, yeah, it helps with the pain in the knees. A minute later, I fired a forehand at him and it just hit him in the chest. He was at the net. And I said, how's that gummy now? He wasn't even able to react.
Woody, I guess it's been so in his system for so long that like there's just it has no effect on him. But it's a skill game. It's not a you don't have to be young and powerful. It's, it's all ball placement.
Is it athletic? Are you sweating?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're running around like crazy. It's great.
Forever.
It's kind of like, I think it's the next pickleball. I think it's a big sport in Europe. It's growing.
So it's new. It's relatively new. It's behind pickleball.
It's behind pickleball, but the Europeans like F1. It's like we just not discovered, but it became popular here in the States,
right?
Much later than it was popular in Europe, and so get on board.
I can't do it, buddy.
No, I can't do the pickleball. I can't do the paddle.
None
You're
of it.
a tennis fanatic.
It's just tennis
Purist.
for now. I know I'm headed there. Look, I mean, what the toll that this sport takes on my body every week. I see it definitely happening, but until then,
you're saying this like somehow the paddle requires less agility and.
Look, I might have respect for paddle. I just don't know enough about it. Pickleball to me, I just don't like the name.
I don't either. I made fun of the name until I played. Have you played it?
I don't like the sound. I think my biggest problem is people keep comparing it to tennis. To me, it's a cruise ship game. Go ahead and play your stupid cornhole and pickleball. That's fine. But it's not the same thing as what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, no,
I know what you're doing.
Can.
That sounds real. That sounds like a real legit idea. Is the paddleball hard or is it?
No, it's a tennis ball, but I think I could be wrong on this. That's not. It doesn't have the same pressure.
Wow.
As a tennis ball, so it's not because the court's smaller. But I love it. I'm sort of obsessed with it. I think it's it's very big in Spain. It's very big in England, and I think there's no courts here in LA. I looked for them.
Anyway, you're going to hear about
me and Woody.
them now.
We're gonna. He just opened his weed shop on Santa Monica. And now we're gonna have our own padel court club. But you didn't think
that's the perfect collab for him: weed and padel.
Yeah.
So he's got his own weed thing happening. His own.
Yeah, he's got his own.
Seth Rogen does as well, right?
Yeah.
And
he does
pottery and.
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of just. It's so. Part of their identity.
Yeah.
Right? It makes sense.
Do you ever touch that stuff?
I have a gummy occasionally to help me sleep.
Yeah.
But it's a tricky one because if I get the wrong strain or something, it sends me into the opposite of sleep.
Why do you have trouble sleeping? Is it just winding down from a day of work?
Good question. I don't know. It's just hard for me to shut this off. Thoughts just keep going. I'm never exhausted enough to just pass out. So, I don't know. I think it's maybe just getting older. I mean, I used to be able to sleep till 10 a.m. I'd go to sleep at midnight, 10 a.m. on a regular basis. Now it's like if I get 7 hours of sleep, it's like, thank God.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that.
So maybe it's just.
I mean, there is a component
older.
of tennis that I do like about that. If I'll play 3.5, 4 hours in an afternoon, it burns me out to the point where I know I'm going to sleep that night.
Maybe that's my problem. I just don't get tired.
Now,
playing athletic sports.
It's not healthy. It's not a healthy idea to burn yourself out to the point of passing out.
I think that's got to be healthy.
That.
What's the downside of that? It's great.
Anyway, thanks for being here. I'm excited to talk to you. You're a huge star right now.
Oh, come on.
You are. You're in the new movie Unfrosted.
I said go on.
Oh, go on. Go on.
No, I'm kidding. I said go. Go on.
We have questions, but really you're a perfect guest for the show because you really are the intersection of, you're one of these guys, the intersection of entertainment, I see you on Instagram at F1 races. I see you at watch events, notably IWC events, Mercedes, Ferrari things up in Monterey. Like, let's take that apart for a second. Like, when did that start, for you?
It's a good question. I think the IWC thing started a while back. I think around 2014. My stylist was dressing me for a premiere, and she put this watch on me. And she knows I like things, not like material things, but like things that do things, cars and watches and guitars and tools. And I appreciate finally, made stuff. So I kind of nerd out on it, and I learn about what it is I'm wearing and why it's special. And so she put me in touch with the people at IWC, and I sort of that collaboration started back in 2014. I think right when Lewis Hamilton came over to Mercedes. So there's an IWC Mercedes affiliation and synergy there. So that's kind of where the Mercedes thing was sort of born. Going to the F1 races as a guest of Lewis's or a guest of Mercedes. I didn't know anything about F1 at the time, but the girl I was seeing, who I was with for about 5-6 years, was English, and she grew up in the McLaren world with Ron Dennis, who used to be the head guy, who was the manager at McLaren at the time when Ayrton Senna was racing. So she turned me on to the sport. And we started going to races together, and I became an F1 fan. And then
the invitations come.
Yeah, and then Drive to Survive. At the time, there was you didn't really ever see any American celebrities or whatever at these races. And then Drive to Survive hit, and it was like everybody, it's like the Met Ball when you go to the Vegas race. It's the place to be, which is cool. It's great for the sport.
But not only that, they were able to kind of reach around to a mainstream audience, like my wife, who doesn't know anything about racing. I would come in and see her watching these episodes going, what?
Yeah. I think the company is a Box to Box, is a company, the production company that does the Drive to Survive. They do a really, really good job with it. And they do it's very slick, it's very polished, and it's perfect for people that want to learn the sport and have it be,
right,
exciting.
So you were so it's the design of a watch. You look at it, you go, "Oh, I like this thing. It feels like me." And let's reach out, let's talk to them. And they say, "Well, why don't you go to an F1 race?" And then folks see you there and they're like, "Hey, what else can we invite James to?"
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're in that community and those opportunities arise. Like what are the opportunities exactly? Like, are you an ambassador for brands
I
now,
was an ambassador with IWC for a really long time. We're still very, very good friends, but I'm not working with them directly anymore. But I was with them for, until I think last year. And we just had I think at first they called it like Friends of the Brand, where you would have these conventions in Geneva. There was one called SIHH, which is no longer. They've combined SIHH into Basel World, and they call it Watches and Wonders, I think is what it's called now. But basically, you would show up representing this brand, and they'd fly you out and put you up, and I get to nerd out on all the new releases of watches that are announced at this convention. Uh-huh. And I'm just a nerd, man. I get into stuff. I'm a hobbyist. Like you know me well enough to.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was married, I got into espresso making. Like I got this really nice Italian espresso machine, and I obsessed about pulling the perfect shot and microfoaming your milk. And I reached out to I was on like a coffee geek website, chat rooms like about coffee. The marriage was going strong, Spike. I reached out to this barista who was in Glendale who won the
symptoms of a bad marriage. Yeah.
This woman had won a barista championship at the time. and I saw it on this chat room and a coffee chat room, and I tracked her down, and I asked her if she would come to my house because I couldn't get the foam right on my machine. Come to my house.
This young woman.
She doesn't know me from Adam. Come to my house. I'll give you $300.
She has no idea that she's talking to James Marsden.
I mean, I don't know at the time. When was this? 2001.
She should. Right.
And she's like, sure, $300 to come to your house for 2 hours and show
this
you. This
doesn't sound like a barista.
No. Well, this is the next part of the story. She showed up at my front door, and my wife opened the door, and I had not let my wife know that I was doing this. And she's like, I'm here to see James. My wife's like, He's
gonna pay me $300.
$300. She's like, you deserve more than that.
Something to do with white foam. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, it's just gonna take 2 hours.
Oh my! So did she come in?
She did. She goes, I'm teaching him how to work as a coffee machine. My wife was like, that tracks.
Wow.
Yeah. So I geek out.
And so she came over.
She came over.
Did she recognize you?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't
and she
remember.
said, all right, let's get into this.
Yeah. Let's get our hands dirty.
What did she teach you that day about foam? Seriously, like how?
You go to real nerd.
Yeah. Just tell me. Just top line it. Tell me what she taught you.
I wanted to be able to. Every girl that is a fan of mine right now is about to just be so turned off. I wanted to be able to create pourable like latte art.
Oh yeah, which is
hard. To be the right consistency. The milk does, and I couldn't get it right with my milk frother on my machine because it was almost too powerful.
So what you're talking about is when I get a coffee at a Cafe Lux or one of these Alfreds that we're drinking right now that you pot for us. Thank you very much. They put the little tree on it or the little flower art on top.
Little heart.
I've never been able to do that either.
Well, I hadn't either until I met whatever her name was and paid her $300 to show me how.
And she showed you.
She did, and from then on out.
So what is the secret? Tell us.
It's. Are you sure your viewers?
We're coffee. We love coffee. We love coffee more than most this tribe.
So it's the angle of the tip. It's the angle of the tip. You want
sure we're talking about coffee
where
here.
You get into the frother.
Okay.
You want to keep it just at the top of the milk, right. So that there's suction.
Okay.
But not like, not like big, you're not creating big bubbles like meringue bubbles. Just so there's suction until, like a sucking sound, until the milk reaches a certain temperature.
Yes.
And then you dunk it on an angle so that there's swirling going in the carafe. And there's no more sucking, just spinning.
Right.
And then you take it out, and hopefully you've created like this, pourable, textured milk. Jesus God, are we really talking about this? But yes, it's timing, it's temperature, it's angle, all those things.
Hold that thought. We have to talk about Race Deck. Over 2 decades ago, Race Deck was invented, a cost-effective, durable, and truly do-it-yourself modular flooring system engineered for the garage. Race Deck's multi-patented design allows for an easy DIY installation without all the hassles and mess of toxic epoxy coatings, transforming your garage in just hours, not days. My Hanger has it. Choose from over 20 styles to create the coolest garage on your block. You know who else has it? Ganassi Racing and just about every guy down at the Long Beach Grand Prix. All of those, I kept looking down, even where they had the food, it was all Race Deck. Race Deck is the original modular flooring system engineered for the garage with over 33 patents, proudly made in the USA. 20 styles to choose from that will transform that ugly garage floor into the coolest garage on the block. Can handle vehicle rolling loads in excess of 80,000 pounds, doesn't chip, paint, or stain. Just know I love it. I love it. They put it in my hanger. I absolutely love it. I've been down and I've had that hanger for over 20 years. This is the best floor I've ever had. Shop at racedeck.com and use code SPIKE911 for an exclusive 15% off and free shipping. Racedeck.com, SPIKE911, 15% off and free shipping. All right, let's keep talking. Wow, I just got to cool off after that broth discussion.
And here we are drinking these coffees.
That was hot.
Yeah, a lot of protein.
I have so much to talk to you about here. There's so much to get through. But I thought maybe we'd start in the beginning. Did I hear your acting career started in Hawaii? Am I right about that? That on a vacation when you were a kid?
Yes, I was on vacation with my family.
How old are you at that
16.
point? 16.
16. And I met some of the cast of Full House.
Really?
Uh-huh.
At the hotel?
At the hotel pool. And we became friends, kept in touch.
I'm guessing this is girls and not guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did they see you and just go, my God,
He's
16-year-old James Marsden?
That's what they said. It's 16-year-old James. No, I think we just, a couple of teenagers. It was like there were 3 or 4 sisters, or 3 sisters and a friend of theirs. And I was thinking I was, the cock of the walk, cool, Mr. Cool Guy.
You probably were, is my guess.
Yeah, I don't know if I was, but we, we got to be pals, and I ditched my family that trip and just hung out with them.
Of course.
And kept in touch, and then they were like, "Hey, you're funny. You got a good look. You're whatever. You should come to L.A. and give it a shot."
Where you lived in Oklahoma at this point?
Oklahoma City, yeah,
right,
born and raised.
So you should come. So at 16, they're saying you should come to L.A. Were you thinking about acting at all?
Yeah, I was. I was in high school plays and musicals, things like that. It was the only thing I did a little bit of sports, but it wasn't really my thing. And I was more into music and theater. And it was like comedy stuff that we would do in Oklahoma, if you can imagine the good, funny stuff we'd be doing. But I was goofy. I was a mimic. I wanted to be on SNL. I wanted to be like a regular on SNL. One of the guys who do all the different characters and stuff. So I grew up watching Dana Carvey and
right.
Jim Carrey and all these. And so, that was kind of my shtick.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't like the jock, the good looking dude that all the girls wanted to be with. I was kind of goofy.
Right.
But I felt like that was like something I was good at. And so when I met them, in my mind, I thought, wow, I know somebody in Hollywood. This is what an in. And if they're saying, yeah, you should move out, I'm gonna do that. So I waited till I was 19. I finished a year and a half of university. I was studying journalism, broadcasting, or mass communications or something. I was gonna be like a news anchor.
Yeah,
because I was a teen news anchor when I was 16 on Good Morning Oklahoma.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, they went around to local high schools to cast as kind of some sort of stunt of like it'd be fun if we got 2 drama students to deliver like the last 2 minutes of news on the hour, and it was always like some cute like teacher of the week is blah blah blah, and here's
see, I won't ask you to play guitar, but I will ask you to do the sign off.
Yeah,
do the sign off.
Yeah,
this is James Marsden.
Hey, I'm James Marsden. Welcome to what did I say? Good Morning Oklahoma. It's James Marsden here in Lee Hetherington. What was the name of the shit?
Is that video exist somewhere?
Yeah. And I was in a band at the time, kind of a country band, and I got them on the show once or twice.
Oh yeah,
we would do these. Of course, it's like 5 a.m, right, when you're doing this Good Morning show, and so or 6 a.m. But there's a video out there of me and 3 of my friends doing like 4-part harmony to Home on the Range, and it's like a funeral dirge. It is the most sappy, slow, sleepy. Anyway, yeah.
Is that on YouTube? Could I find that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Have fun.
Will, look for that and cut it in.
Jim Marsden and the Trailblazers will be here. Stay with us.
And the skies are not cloudy all day.
Oh, and I'm sure the girls at PC North are just going crazy this morning. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Enjoyed it. And you're going to do the news segment this morning?
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna do it cash, or are you gonna put?
Cash.
You're just gonna go cash.
I feel like changing.
Hey, thank you guys for coming out. We'll be back right after this.
Oh yeah, well there it is. We just heard it. How nice.
Yeah. Wake up. You fell asleep during that. Yeah. Anyway, so
you go to Hollywood to meet with the who is it? The Full House crew?
Yeah, the Camerons.
Yeah. Did you go? You go to see an episode?
Yeah, I went to taping. And
right.
Went to taping of that and Growing Pains and Full House,
and then somehow you meet Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah. He was on the last season of Growing Pains. Yeah, and we kind of ran in the same circles for a minute. The first couple of years of being in LA, and I never really got to know him that well, but we'd play basketball occasionally.
And what was he like at that point?
Oh, he had just done This Boy's Life, and I think he'd just finished Gilbert Grape.
Yeah, so he's just exploding.
But it was right before he exploded. I mean, Titanic was really exploded him, but yeah. So he was the guy that everyone was talking about. Of course, like it was him and Brad Pitt, and everybody wanted their careers. And he was just like this kid with insane talent. Just so I kind of I came out. I got a manager. I told my mom and dad as I'm moving out, and my father's a microbiologist, so. You would think that he would not be supportive of me moving to LA to be an actor, but he actually was tremendously supportive, and so was my mom, and they supported me financially the first year I moved to LA, and he said, "Hey, give it a shot for a year. I'll help pay for your rent and your food, and if it doesn't work out after a year, come back and finish school, or you stay on your own."
Yeah. That was the standard Hollywood plan from parents.
Yeah.
It was the 1 or 2 year plan.
Right.
I'm going to help you for 1 or 2 years, and then you're coming back.
I'm trying to do that now with my son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different timetable, I think, now, but I remember just about everybody I knew in this business, director, writer, didn't matter what. It was a 1 or 2 year plan.
Right.
The clock is ticking. And it would get really dicey towards, 11th month or 23rd month. You'd start to panic a little bit and go...
Which you wanted your kids to have, right? You want them to feel a little bit of the fire underneath the feet.
Yeah. But this business is littered with cases of people not making it until they're in their 40s or 50s, and they just kept at it. They never stopped, and then they do make it eventually.
Right.
But
yeah, which I guess is part of it. It's not like you have to give up after that year. You just have to be able to make your own living.
So what happened? Is that you got the nanny at what point in that 1 year?
I was offered to test on Days of Our Lives. And to me, at the time, it was like 3 months into being in LA. So I was very lucky very early on. Mm-hmm. And I remember auditioning, and they said, "You want to be on a soap?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." and I thought in my mind, this is great, because as an actor, the one downside about it is consistency of work. This is a full contract that you're going to be on this show for 3 years, like it's guaranteed work for 3 years. So I was like, sure. And my manager at the time said, you maybe want to think about not doing it. I said, why? This is like, I should be working at a drive-through fast food spot in Oklahoma. I'm going to be paid to be an actor. Why would I not do this? He said, because it locks you in for 3 years, and you're on a soap, and there's other opportunities that you're going to have to say no to. And so we said no to the test, and my father was like, sorry, what? He's been there for 3 months, and he's saying no to getting paid to be an actor.
It's such... Yeah. Look, in all seriousness, it's such an important step to say no in the beginning like that. It's such an important step.
I look back.
And it worked, right?
It worked.
Because what happened right after that?
I booked The Nanny, the pilot of The Nanny. They brought me back for a full episode.
Right.
And then I started doing like guest star appearances on like quality shows, or like it was like Party of Five or Blossom and Saved by the Bell. Well, I guess, yeah, you know what I mean, popular shows.
Yeah.
And I had the freedom still to keep your options open for other work. Movies. At the time, there was a lot of TV movies happening. Remember these?
Right.
It was like James Marsden and Jill Eikenberry and Michael Tucker. Did I get those names right?
It sounded
Jill
good.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was getting paid to be an actor. I did a series... my first like regular was this show called Boogie's Diner, and it was a Saved by the Bell knockoff that shot in Toronto, I think primarily for Canadian TV, but I was getting paid like $7,500 an episode, and I'm like, that's a fucking fortune. Great, I'll go wherever and do whatever and say whatever you want me to say. And then, so that was like 6 months into being in LA. I was moving to Toronto to be on the show with Jim J. Bullock.
Oh, wow.
It was me, Jim J. Bullock, and all this local Canadian talent. Mm-hmm. And the first episode, I didn't read the script even. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And I'm on the plane reading it, and I'm in a hot dog suit in the first episode. And I'm like, oh, shit. What did I say yes to? It's like these kids that work in a clothing store at the mall.
Right. Right.
But
Here you are. You're living a dream moment, which I always thought this was a cool moment too. You're on a plane reading a script.
Yeah.
Wow, I am authentic.
yeah,
Right.
I'm legit.
It says wearing a hot
Walked
dog
in
suit.
wearing a hot dog suit.
And you go,
God, this isn't Gilbert Grape. I know one thing. This is not.
oh no.
Eating Gilbert Grape, but I was like, whatever.
And this is also a time where everybody sees everything. Like, there's not that
Yeah.
much TV out there. So
No,
Dad and everyone else is going to see you in a hot dog suit.
Of course. But,
Yeah.
but whatever. I mean, I like to laugh at it now, but it was a job for 6 months, and I had to. Yeah. Anyway,
You gotta
so
pay
then it was
your
just
bills,
like
right.
being smart about what you do next. I did this show called Second Noah. It was like a primetime family drama thing, and I was kind of whatever, like the teen heartthrob on the show, and I played guitar and sang and did all these things, and it was on the show. I was on the air for a couple of years, and then yeah, I did Disturbing Behavior with Katie Holmes, who was just coming off of Dawson's Creek, and this movie Gossip with Lena Headey and Kate Hudson, and then I did X-Men. That was kind of the big.
That was the big one.
Yeah, that was kind of the big one that put me on the map.
Is it true you wore lifts for that part? You were playing the part of Cyclone?
Yes, Cyclops. Yeah,
Cyclops,
yeah.
right. Cyclops was who's a
works,
very,
too.
very tall, big character,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you're pretty tall by yourself,
I
right?
mean, I'm like average height, I guess, is the honest thing to say.
So they said, hey, look.
I'm 5'10".
you're
Hugh
five-
Jackman's like 6'3". Famke
Right.
Jansen's 6'1".
So they
barefoot.
said, you got to, what kind of
Well,
lift did they
I
put you
wore
in?
them on my own. I chose to wear them.
But is there a
in the
lift
audition.
that makes you that much taller?
No, I just wore big boots and I put like a little lift inside the boot. So when I came in, they're like,
Yeah.
wow. He's either
Can't they fix that?
he's
with
either
CG?
wearing lifts or he's got really long calves.
Right. So
Why is
is
his waist so high?
that becomes the first big moment for you
Yeah, that was.
in movies?
That was.
I mean, flashing forward to right now, like, this podcast recording was delayed because it was like, okay, well, he's got the Oscars, he's got the Emmys, he's got the Critics' Choice. You were just at everything, right?
Yeah, and it was all at once too because of the strike and everything. Everything got put right at the beginning of
Is
the
this
year.
the first year that you've really been a big part of all of those events? Jury duty by itself propels you to the top of the TV world, right?
Yeah.
That moment.
Yeah, it's the first time ever I've experienced all of those shows. I'd never been to the Globes or the Emmys.
Right. And I was surprised and delighted by the choice of jury duty. I'm not used to seeing you. I mean, now that I know that you started off in a hot dog suit, now I see the comedy and I know you a little better. But when I saw that, I went, wow, what a really cool, smart choice. It's a risky choice.
Yeah.
We've seen prank shows like this, but this one sounds like it has a good heart. What was the decision-making process to take? I imagine it must have been a leap of faith for you a little bit.
It was unfamiliar territory. It was for everybody. Frankly, it was not. I mean, the conceit of the show was unlike anything that we've really seen before. So it was difficult to compare it to anything else that had been done. There's been shows. My friend David Bernard produced the show, and he's a pal, and he came to me with this concept, and Lee Eisenberg and Gene Stupnitsky, and where you're taking kind of like the structure of The Office, I guess, and you're bringing in this guy who is if Krasinski's character didn't know that the whole thing was fake, you know, and so you have this sort of wild animal element to the whole thing, but it seemed what excited me was one, good people involved. It was like Todd Schulman, who does all of Sasha's Borat stuff, and then Lee and Gene, of course, Bernard. So you're in good hands, and the writers were writing. There were scripts, circumstantial. Writing, I guess, is what you would call it. It's like there were situations, like situational, but there was no dialogue really written because you couldn't anticipate what he was going to say.
Right. But didn't that scare you? I mean, sometimes there are two types of actors. You talk about wanting to be an SNL guy. You saw them on our set. Any SNL guy,
Yeah.
you can whisper them a note after action, and they can do anything very quickly. But some actors get scared. Did it frighten you that you would be improvising and not knowing the direction of a scene at times because there's a guy here who's going to take it in whatever direction he wants?
Well,
I mean,
you had to be kind of nimble
Is that what you liked about
I think so. I think this sort of live theater element to it, that like, hey, can we keep this? How long can we do this high wire act? And can we get him to the finish line after 3 weeks? I was not scared about the improv stuff. I've always loved that style of comedy. Larry Sanders Show is like my favorite. Curb,
right.
Christopher Guest, where you have like sort of an outline and you know the character and you just kind of live in it and you're not thinking of what the lines are on the page. You're just kind of, and so to play the version of me where it's like this heightened version of myself and this sort of insufferable, entitled Hollywood guy, it's kind of a bit I do on set anyway.
That's not a version of you, though. You're not like that. You're a very down-to-earth guy.
I mean,
but the thoughts you might have, like playing the evil version of yourself,
right? Which is what I imagine Larry David feels about Curb. It's like, boy,
it's very true.
I get to do this, and I get to be the guy I kind of want to be sometimes in real life, but I can't. So I get to do it through.
Yeah, because he's really not like that.
Right.
His whole like Seinfeld story place for George was always like, what happened at the party? What rude thing happened to you, and what did you want to do that you didn't do? What did you want to say that you didn't say?
Yeah.
And that's, Larry's a very kind, nice man.
Yeah.
But he's in touch with that note to play.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I was watching you in Jury Duty, I was laughing, going, this must be so fun to play the famous version of yourself that at times you really kind of want to be. Right.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I just want to get in the car. I'm going to have someone order my lunch right now.
And just, I love the idea of playing a character like this entitled celebrity who doesn't know how spoiled he is, or how obnoxious he is. He thinks he's being, he thinks he's doing everyone a favor by letting them kind of be in his presence. Like, lucky you get to do Jury Duty with James Marsden. Like this guy who's like, but he passes himself off as affable and like friendly and charming, but really he's drinking the Kool-Aid of his own. Right.
I
don't know. So
it was a hugely likable thing to watch. It made you hugely likable.
Like he's a dunce. Like I don't know what that says about me, but it's fun for me to make fun of myself and what I do sometimes. I take it very seriously. I love what I do for work, but sometimes it's like, we got to make fun of actors.
When did you know it was going to be a huge success? How did you know? Did that really come off of someone telling you you're all over TikTok?
Yes, that was the day after it premiered. Here's another thing that I not to go back, but it's easy to look back now at the show and go, wow, what a cool thing. You were so smart to do that. And at the time, I didn't think it was smart.
Right.
I was like, these scripts are really funny and what I get to do in it is really funny. But I don't know if anybody's going to see this. Two, like, what am I doing? I'm in a prank show. I'm the only person that's like a recognizable actor in this. And you're kind of like, it's hanging on you. Yes. And then there's this sweet guy who comes in. That's the thing I was most worried about.
It's a big swing at the fences. This one.
It's a
risk.
Wrong.
And
so
it can
many
go wrong.
ways.
No, I thought so too when I saw it.
But the biggest way it could go wrong, I didn't worry about the comedy. I was worried about that this guy was going to have, this guy who did not ask to be Truman Showed. That's 3 weeks of your life. That's a long time to mess with someone's human experience.
Right.
And I don't care if you are doing it in a virtuous way or like you're trying to celebrate this guy's humanity and his kindness and, celebrate him. He didn't ask for it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know his background. I don't know what's going to, imagine if you were that person after 3 weeks, you're like, what? Every person I spoke to every day was creating this facade and this fake reality. Mm-hmm. That would mess with my mind.
Well, that's the innovation I think that show has. I worked on Jamie Kennedy Experience way back. And, which was a very, very funny show and outlined in a funny way. And, done hidden camera, pranky things on various late night shows, including my own. There always was an element of meanness to them that you kind of felt bad about at the end of the day. And that, I think, is what was the innovation of your show. It is whoever said that to you said, no, this show's going to have a good spirit.
Well, that's it. So I wouldn't have done it if that wasn't a big component of the show, it was David Bernad and it was Nick Hatton, one of our other producers, and Jake Szymanski, who I love, directed the whole thing, said, we're not in this to make him the butt of the joke. We're not doing a prank show. That's not what this is. We're quote unquote creating a hero's journey for this guy.
Fantastic.
And we're surrounding him with a bunch of weirdos and kind of crazy situations just to see how he reacts to it and see if he becomes, and sort of create this path for him to be the leader of these, ragtag group of jurors. And he did. And he was the guy that we wanted him to be by the end of it. And I liked that there was a kind undertone to it. And the comedy, but the challenge was, how do we make this, sweet, but also funny? It always felt like there was going to be a choice. You got to pick one, because they're like, if we're too kind to him, maybe the comedy is going to be a bit muted. But if we're really going for the laughs, it's going to be mean-spirited. But somehow, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Somehow we managed to thread that needle, and it just worked. But we got lucky. We got lucky with him.
All right, we're running low on time. We got to keep moving here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Unfrosted.
Yes, sir.
You are one of the stars of the Seinfeld-helmed Netflix movie Unfrosted, which is premiering May 3rd. I got to show you the trailer. Don't let me forget that. You're featured prominently in it. And you play the character of Jack Lalanne.
Uh-huh.
Talking about swinging for the fences and making brave choices, and we don't know how this thing is going to work out, which, by the way, every single project I work on, including this and other things that I'm doing, I never know how anything is going to do. And talk about not sleeping. It keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
And I'm pleasantly surprised a lot, and sometimes I'm not. I don't know, but you were such a joy to have on the set. I told Jerry that you were coming on, and some of the other folks that were working on it, and said, "You guys remember anything funny on the set?" This is what they all were saying. I just remember him being the nicest guy in the world on our set and making us laugh. That's what everybody kept saying. So how did you decide to do this movie, and how did you approach the character of fitness guru? I think the very first fitness guru in the United States, Jack Lalanne.
Yeah, well, I knew very little about Jack Lalanne, but
you said, I think I called you, right?
Yeah.
And said, hey, we have this part.
Yeah.
The movie's very silly. It's not a serious retelling of the making of the Pop Tart. It's the exact opposite. We don't like those, Blackberry movies or the other Pink movie. We just want to have some fun here. And I remember you going, geez, Jack Lalanne, geez, I don't know. I'm not in the best of shape right now. And I said, well, you got a few weeks.
Compared to him, I think is what I was. I was in decent shape, but I wasn't.
I know.
He was like... he was the guy who towed 75 boats with his teeth through the Alcatraz harbor or whatever. I mean, just he became this guy who he started in the 50s, right?
He did.
He was the TV show aerobic fitness trainer for all the people at home watching.
In KGO in San Francisco. He funded his own show, and he was really the first guy to talk about food and fitness, and he did it on black and white TVs, and it became a thing.
Yeah.
It became a thing. And what you're talking about is on his birthday. I didn't know any of this as we were writing it. Jerry really admires this guy, or admired him. He's not with us anymore. In 79, at age 65, he towed 65 boats in a lake near Tokyo, Japan. He was handcuffed and shackled, and the boats were filled with 6,500 pounds of Louisiana Pacific wood pulp. And he's in the water. That's what he did for his 65th birthday. 66, he towed 10 boats in Miami. The boats carried 77 people, and he towed them for over a mile in less than an hour. And at age 70, he had a thing for boats.
Yeah.
He towed 70 rowboats, one with several guests, from the Queensway Bridge in the Long Beach Harbor to the Queen Mary. 1 mile.
Yeah.
At 70.
Yeah.
And you came on to set that day because you said, I had no idea this guy was who he was. He goes, there's a whole movie right here.
Yeah, I remember saying that. I thought, what? Yeah, you got to make a movie about this guy.
Yeah, and I said, well, we're not that movie.
We're not that movie. No.
We're just trying to make people.
You
laugh.
get to come in and provide some color, some fun flavor to the movie.
Yeah, and just to back up before you talk about that character, I think a natural question you might be asking yourself right now at home is, what does Jack Lalanne have to do with the making of the Pop-Tart?
Right.
Kellogg's at one point is trying to assemble a dream team of the biggest geniuses of the time in 1963, and Jack Lalanne falls into that category. So they just hire him for his
like kind of the goofy, the version of the right stuff.
Right.
Right. These guys are the best of the best in their field.
So in the movie, you're talking about food a lot. Right?
Yeah, and diet and fitness and all of those things. And one thing, the first thing that came to mind for me was Jack always had these very tight-fitting outfits that he would wear. Right, it was like a unitard.
He wore a unitard
and kind of like ballet slippers.
Yes, correct.
So not leaving much to the imagination. But also, I don't know. To me, it's always been this way. The more absurd the character, and again, this is nothing towards the actual Jack Lalanne, but the more colorful, I guess I'll say, the character, the more excited I get. So when you came to me and the movie came to me and like, hey, here's the cast, it's Jerry. Of course, I'm a massive Seinfeld fan. And, it felt like everyone wanting to jump into this party together where, you have Hugh Grant playing Tony the Tiger. And it's like, okay, great. I want to come to this party. I'm invited to this party. And give me the leotard.
Peter Dinklage playing an evil milkman guy. Yeah.
I mean,
we're out of our minds.
Wasn't it like right as COVID was slowing down?
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody just wanted to have a laugh. It was like, let's have a good time.
Yes. That was the idea as we were writing it. We were just trying to get together and have fun and have a social life. And the script came out of that kind of fun.
Well,
but when Jack Lalanne came up, I remember where we were. We had this giant board of headshots, and we were like, okay, here are all these characters. Let's see if we can fill this board with our favorite funny people. And we're like, who is Jack Lalanne? Who is that? And we're thinking about the suit and the tightness and the in-shapeness. And I think it was Bo, who's one of our producers, when he goes, Marsden. And we're like, Jerry and I, we know James Marsden. We could call James Marsden.
Yeah.
They go, he'd be great. He's perfect.
Oh God, I think they permed my hair.
We were so happy that we had thought isn't casting hilarious? Like, you just think it would be a perfectly natural thing to be someone to kind of say that. But and there is. We had a great casting director, Christy, who did a lot of that. But you'd get stuck every once in a while, and we really were patting ourselves on the back.
I wouldn't have. I'm not sure I would have cast myself as.
Oh, we got so excited.
Oh,
do you know why? Because we were like, he's funny. He's handsome, he's in shape, but he likes cars and watches like us. So the downtime is going to be filled like it was back in the old days with, we can talk to him about cars and racing and stuff, or he'll tell us about what watches.
Espresso machines.
Yeah, or coffee. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean,
it was a big win.
We have a lot of the same interests. And look, I just was like, any opportunity for me to just sort of make a fool of myself and have fun, I jump at it for some reason. I don't know why. I think that was part of jury duty as well. But
who were you friendly on set with? When you walked onto that set on any given day, there were a lot of famous faces, and you were in a big group because you're with, Bobby Moynihan,
McBrayer, and
Jack McBrayer, Melissa McCarthy. Mm-hmm. Do you know these folks? Or
I know Jack the most because we did some 30 Rock together. I didn't know Bobby that well. I knew Melissa a little, but not a lot.
Sarah Cooper was around.
Sarah Cooper was around.
Yeah. Tom
Lennon. I knew. So we did something together before. So, and I think we all kind of were in the same thing. Like, we're all kind of these sort of weirdos playing these extreme characters.
Yeah. And what is this?
That's
what we were asking
Pop-Tart
ourselves.
Movies.
So we're on the other side of it going, God, we hired all these really famous, talented people. I hope we know what this is.
We just, and also we just all kind of like stood at the edge of the deep end and looked at each other and like, I'll jump if you jump.
Yeah.
Kind of just dove in.
Well, you kill it in the movie. You're really funny. I'm going to show you the trailer. You're prominently featured in it. And
which part of me? in that unitard is prominently featured.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to blow the story, but there is a part of the story where the bulge in a unitard is something that has to be handled by Jerry's character. Like, hey, it's a little distracting in the office. Could you?
Let's get to the real reason why you cast me.
It's the shot of you at the press conference, the announcement.
Okay, got it.
There's a great shot of you standing, flexing your muscles, and the ladies in the crowd going, yeah.
Yeah. And what was that suit? I don't want to ruin things for the audience, but I'd wear some crazy suit that was an actual invention in the 60s. Because what year is it
the
again?
inflatable
1962 or something?
1963. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the inflatable sauna suit.
It's fantastic. You're going to be excited. All right. Next time you're here, by the way, the kids have not forgotten about our high-speed kart racing fun with your son, Jack.
Yeah.
Who's really good
driver.
And my son, Jack, who's not as good, but still fast.
No, but I remember Phil Giebler, the guy who set us up at that in Fontana on that karting track with super high-powered karts, like not your regular go-karts. These are like 125cc, two-stroke, serious. And him saying, your boy is actually really good and has a ton of talent. And I remember him wanting to coach your kid, didn't he?
My guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were fast.
Yeah.
That isn't a road. I couldn't stop them. Now they're racing.
We're at
other things
that
and
age
doing
too,
other
where they're just
stuff.
fearless.
But it was your Jack who came in. You were really fast around the track, and then I remember your Jack just wiped the floor with you. And
He
then
was
my
way
boys
quicker
did to
than
me, and I went, oh.
They just have that when they're young. They just have that fearlessness that we don't, because we can see what could go wrong.
You know what else they have? They have the ability to feel that slide of the wheels around a turn right to the edge.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with how they could slide it just enough to get the advantage, but not to lose time.
Yeah. That was fun. We were out there with Jonah Nolan, too.
Oh, yeah.
Westworld creator, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good day.
We got to repeat it at some point.
For sure.
All right. Hundegger wants to know, favorite car and favorite watch you would wear together on a drive?
Ooh, my favorite car. You know this story. My favorite car I bought and sold way too soon was a 2019 911 GT3
Touring.
9912 Touring.
And that's right.
I remember that feeling because I have 3 kids. I thought, what did I just do? How much money did I just spend? And I haven't put them through college yet. And I'm going away to shoot a show for 8 months in Toronto. It's going to sit in the garage. I feel bad. Sell it. And it was the worst mistake of my life because I think it's worth twice as much as it is now. Back then,
they're still around. You're a big deal.
Sure, but you're paying twice as much. No,
so?
I had one, but I let it go, and I should have just bet on yourself, man. I don't have this big ostentatious lifestyle. I've always loved Porsches.
But you deserve a Porsche right now. You've had a lot of success. Well, why not? Well, why don't we try to find you an ST, something like that?
Yeah, great. Let's talk about this for real. I want it. It's time. I'm going to right my
Didn't
wrongs.
I put you in touch with Porsche Clearwater at one point?
You did.
I
you did. And
right?
I think he had a Spider for me for a moment. And I was like, as much as I love that car, I want to wait. I want to wait. I couldn't do the shark blue.
That's
Spider.
right. Oh, that's what it was.
Remember?
You know what it was, though? You take that car, you sit on it for a few months.
Yeah.
Make a little money on it. Now you're a little closer to your next car.
I know. I did. Yeah. I just make mistake after mistake. I need you to help guide me on this.
I don't know what this means, but Beehigh007, is there still any animosity towards Hugh Jackman for destroying the ignition with his claw in your Mazda RX-8?
If I remember that scene correctly, yeah, it was a Mazda RX-8. I think it premiered on that movie, X-Men 2. And when he gets in the car, I remember the writer's like, let's make fun of Cyclops a little bit. And what song plays when he turns the ignition on? And I think it was Cher, Do You Believe in Life After Love? So he turns the ignition on and then slams his claws into it.
There you go.
As if Cyclops is listening to that.
Any chance that you would be coming to the Monaco of Florida next year, the IndyCar St. Pete GP, LPW
maybe.
champion? I've been to that one.
Maybe.
It's a lot of fun.
I just got asked by a friend who races for McLaren, his name's Paul Reese, to join him, be his teammate next year for McLaren in the new Artura, the new McLaren Artura. I think it's a 570S or 580S. And I would race with him, and I would go train, get my license, which I trained for a while with Ferrari to get my my IMSA license, and I never.
But the Challenge Series,
the Challenge Series, and I never got the license because COVID kind of screwed everything. But I'm considering it actually.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, I got off track there, but Monaco.
That would be a nice little video.
Be fun.
Maybe we should be filming that.
I don't know if I have the nuts, the berries to go wheel to wheel though. We'll see.
Well, if you did Challenge Series, Ferrari Challenge Series,
yeah,
they've had their share of Fassbender was a part of that.
Fassbender
right?
was in it, and then he went in to do his Le Mans.
And there was another guy. Who was the
Nick.
the British actor?
Yes, also from X-Men. Nick Holt. Nicholas
Maybe.
Holt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get nervous in those series, though, because a lot of times it's guys who just pay to be in the series who
Yeah.
don't have any training.
Yes. Dentist flinging.
Right.
Is what we call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's always a famous shot of an old car.
The
open
first guy who
cockpit,
asked the question. Oh, yeah.
and a
Yes.
dentist being flung out of it when he catches.
What was the
edges of the
Porsche
wheels.
that was the Widowmaker? Was it a 930
Yeah.
turbo
Yeah.
with the turbo lag?
They're all a Widowmaker right now.
Yeah.
I'm in the ultimate one right now, the Cybertruck.
That thing.
That made an impression
pulled
on you
up.
when I pulled it into the driveway, right?
Yeah. How could it not?
It was. You have a very curious, difficult little driveway here that I'm going to have to back down, and I feel 100% confident I can do it.
I feel sorry for the driveway. That thing.
Here,
yeah.
and I reviewed it a while back, but I'll say it again. So delightful on the highway. The surprises of it are the thing. I was
It's
up
a
on.
tank.
I was on Mulholland. The 0 to 60 is like 2.5, but it
That's
feels
insane.
less. It's whipping around turns like I used to take turns up here in my 73 RS. It handles, and it handles on the highway. I can't explain it.
100 miles an hour to 0. How many feet?
I don't know.
That's it.
Ask the Beverly Hills Hotel sign.
That's
That has the
what
answer.
My thoughts would go to. What does it take to stop this thing?
It stops. It had to stop on its own when somebody stopped in front of me yesterday, but
Yeah.
I'm having fun in it.
Good for you.
I'm still trying to understand every angle on it.
I
But
sat in the front seat and I was like, it looks like I'm looking out the back window of a car, like an old hatchback.
Yeah.
And you pull up, it's like a life-size Hot Wheels car.
Yeah.
Truck.
I still think its biggest issue, like it's so easy to either hate it or so easy to really love it. That's too easy of a take for this thing.
Yeah.
It's disruptive. Its design is disruptive, which I like. You feel like you're in a special thing. I picked up one of my boys at the beach last night who had lacrosse practice out there because they didn't have the field. And, I had 5 or 6 conversations with folks just walking by,
Yeah.
which I do enjoy, but I don't know how long I would enjoy that. And I
Yeah.
don't know how long that would continue happening as the environment fills up with them. Design-wise, I don't know if it ever integrates with planet Earth. I don't know if this ever looks like
It's
something.
very brutalist. Like the style is
Yeah.
it's and it's also it's like a mirror on wheels too.
You said right away the DeLorean, and has the DeLorean integrated with as a design with this planet? I don't know that has happened.
No.
So-
But I don't think he was trying to do things by the book.
Yeah.
But by design, this thing is supposed to
So you could think of it like
disrupt.
Yeah, you could think of it like this could have been a design exercise where we just build one of them and it exists out in the world.
Well, that's what it looks like. It looks like
yeah.
a concept truck.
But last night I'm driving back from the beach and I saw 2 of them pass me on the other
Really?
side.
Oh, I thought there was
And you're
only
like,
one in production.
No, there's one down the street from me. Some guy has one there that he can't get in his driveway, and there was
Remember when the Hummer hit the market?
Yeah.
And it was like, it's so not practical. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But this has, I'm sure, far more practicality than that.
It's really
fast,
pleasant
it's
to
electric.
daily. It's really pleasant
Yeah.
to daily. I mean, you're not going to get in a parking garage maybe, but
Yeah.
but still, as far as coming here, which is an urban drive in traffic,
It's all-wheel drive, I'm assuming.
it's got 3 motors in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it...
There are 3 different Cybertrucks. There's
Okay.
the rear wheel, I think, and then there's this Cyber Beast, which is this guy.
Yeah, but outside of the shape of the thing and the design, what else is there to the identity of the? It's a Tesla S outside of that, right? Well, it's got a
No, it
truck bed.
drives differently than anything I've ever driven. It's
Okay.
got the drive-by-wire tech, so there's no connection from your steering to your wheels. So
There's
there's
gonna
a
be a
little
lot
bit
of-
of a delay, but also it turns faster because the rear wheels turn at lower speeds.
Yeah.
And it on your
that like
first
torque vectoring.
Yeah, you feel like your very first drive, you feel like you're on the lunar surface in zero gravity driving
Yeah.
something like that.
This-
And which isn't necessarily bad. It's just completely different. And then it has your attention. If you're at all a car guy, it will have your attention. Like a Carrera GT has your attention. It's different and intriguing. So
Yeah, I think at 7,000 pounds, 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds, that's going to get a lot of people in trouble. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone told me about one that hit a Prius, one of the guys at the beach.
You don't want to be in that Prius.
He said, yeah, the Prius is gone. I said, wow, do you have pictures of that accident? Because I would like to see that, just because I don't like the Prius, but still. All right, we got to go, but one more question. And I wanted to hit this question too, and thank you, Reverend Timmy B, for asking it. What actors do you get recognized as most that aren't you?
That aren't me.
Because I thought I remembered reading back in the day that you were like the lesser Tom Cruise guy. Before I even knew who you were, and I'd go, oh yeah, he kind of looks like him. Now I would say Tom Cruise is the lesser James Marsden guy.
I would argue that.
I wouldn't. I'm not sure
vehemently.
I would. But are there, everybody gets, you walk down the street, and occasionally I get Ed Helms, but who do you get?
I've gotten Chris Pine a couple of times, and in fact, I that's the one I get the most. So that's the one I used in jury duty when I lose the role to someone else, and it's Chris Pine, and throw a hissy fit. Chris Pine. Who else have I gotten mistaken for? He's usually the one that people mistake me for the most. Was Rob Lowe one? No.
Is it easy for you to walk around in life?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
You're not getting swamped by
No.
folks?
I've always said I'm at that nice level of fame or whatever you want to call it, where you're not really bothered by it. Mm-hmm. People aren't following you around. I'm just not interesting enough. Thank God. But also people still know your work, and recognize you. But it's usually like, I know your face. Tell me why I know your face. I'm like, I don't know. Well, tell me what you were in. What did I see you in? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun. I've been able to do movies like Sonic and movies like X-Men and Westworld and all these different types of genres. And so you have little kids coming up to you, and you have older people.
Yeah.
Say, oh, I loved you in The Notebook. So it's been a fun journey. But it hasn't really. It hasn't really affected me on a privacy level that much yet. Thank God.
Well, after this show,
you just wait.
Wait till you see what happens.
Yeah.
You think you were big after jury duty?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk around the street in a unitard, see what happens.
James Marsden, we've said a lot. I'm so impressed with everything you've accomplished since you started back there in Hawaii at the hotel with the girls.
Sounds really nefarious.
And honestly, congratulations on all your success. Really, you are bigger, I think, in my opinion, and I'm kind of a Hollywood person, than you've ever been. And I love that you're still making brave choices and doing our movie and doing jury duty and Sonic and Hulu, all of the stuff that you're up to. I
appreciate it.
Very, very impressed with you. And
thank you. That's very nice of you to say.
And
so hope I can keep doing it.
Let's find you a car. Let's talk about this off the air, but let's get you something.
Air cooled?
You deserve something new. No, new.
New. Okay.
New. We'll see you next week. Spike's Car Radio.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio. Listen to new episodes every Wednesday and be sure to subscribe. Now, I'm gonna take a nap.